Saxon Algebra 1, Lesson 26. Last time we solved equations. This time we're going to solve more complicated equations. Last time we reviewed the rules that say, they're two of the three fundamental rules of algebra, and that is that when we're solving equations, we can add or subtract any number as long as we do it to both sides. We also said that you can multiply or divide any non-zero number as long as we do it to both sides. We can't divide by zero because that's just always a bad idea, right? That blows up the universe. And multiplying by zero is kind of like a factory reset. It changes everything to zero and the content of our equation just disappears, right? It's just 0 equals 0 plus 0 or whatever, right? Everything just goes away. So those are the basic rules of how we can manage our equations. Now, when we get into these more complicated equations, like we're going to talk about today, we sometimes don't even know where to start because it's more complicated. So I'm going to give you a very short list of steps. The first thing that we always want to do is add like terms. And I might even say that as check to see if we can add like terms, all right? So that's always the first thing we look at. And then the second thing that we do, in the immortal words of my 7th grade algebra teacher, is swim our fish, right? We move the X fish to one side and we move the plain number fish to the other side, and then that will allow us to solve. There are fancy math words that you can use instead of saying swim fish, but I don't want to say them because they're not my friends. So this is the basic set of steps that we're going to use. Let's try to solve one. Ready? 3x minus 4 equals 5x plus 7. I appreciate the sun coming out and shining on my paper, but it's really causing shadow drama, isn't it? Okay, so our first step is to add like terms. Like terms means on one side of the equation or the other. It does not mean going across. That's swimming fish. Adding like terms means we only look at one side of the equation and we look to see if there's anything we can combine. Here we see no, there's an X term and a plain number term. Nothing. Same thing over here. So there's no like terms that we can add. All we can do is swim fish. And so the question becomes, how do we swim fish? Now, what most students end up deciding, let me say this first of all, there's no right or wrong way. As long as you're working accurately mathematically, you can swim the X's to either side and the plain numbers to either side. It doesn't matter. But what a lot of students like to do is look at the X terms and say, let's move the smaller one toward the bigger one so that we'll end up with a positive X. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And when you're feeling fast and frisky, you can do it all in one step, but I'm going to do it in two steps. Minus 4 equals 2x plus 7. Now the x's are here, so now I know I need to swim the plain number fish this way. That cancels, and we get minus 11 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals minus 11 over 2. And once again, my 11 had the minus sign, but now I'm floating it in front of the whole fraction. That's the right answer. Let's do another one. Those are so fun. We have 5 total in this lesson. 26.2. Okay. Oh. Here's what John wants to do. He wants to take that same equation we had last time and just show you that we can swim the fish in the other direction and it'll still work out. So last time we moved the 3x over here. This time we'll move the 5x over here. Just to show you it works both ways. That cancels. Here we get the negative 2x. That's the thing that most people are disgusted by and don't want to deal with. Okay? So now the x fishies are swum. Now we swim the plain number guy. Remember, we always do the opposite. The inverse operation is the fancy name. We do the opposite. So here we're subtracting, so we add. Addition and subtraction are opposites. So that's how we get them to cancel out, right? Because minus 4 plus 4 is 0. Goodbye. Minus 2x equals 11. Okay, again, our goal is always to get our x by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by a minus 2. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we divide by minus 2, and we get x equals negative 11 over 2. We float the minus sign, and that's the very same answer as last time. So that's John's desire to prove to us that it doesn't matter which way you swim the fish. Just do whatever you think would be fun, and you'll be fine. As long as you work accurately, the process won't matter. Okay. Example 26.3. This one's a little bit longer. Not harder, just longer. Okay, I'm going to, here, I'll move it so you can see it better. I'm going to double check as you copy. All right, I said back at the beginning that the first step is to add like terms. And in our first two problems, we didn't have any like terms to add. But this time, we do. So again, we are paying attention to the equal sign, and we're just looking on one side of the equal sign. Adding like terms is staying on one side. It's not swimming anything back and forth. All right, I see that I've got two x's. 3x minus x is 2x. And I've got two plain numbers. Plus 2 and plus 4 gives me plus 6. Equals, now over here I just have one x term, minus x, but I've got two plain numbers. So I can combine those to get minus 9. Make sense? Okay, I don't like this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add x. I'm swimming my fishies now, right? I'm going to swim my x fishies that way. And what some students like to do when they're feeling confident is they swim both sets of fish at the same time. So I just move my x fish over here, so I know my plain number fish has to go this way. So I can do that in the same step. If I'm feeling good. If you feel like I just overwhelmed you, don't do it this way. Just keep going step by step. I will do it the slow way. If you want to go fast, do it as long as you keep getting right answers. 3x equals minus 15. Right? Those two together are minus 15. And then we undo this multiplication with some division, and we get x equals minus 5. Right? 15 over 3. Reduces to 5, and it's minus. Yay! That's right. And this one's similar. It's got a K in it instead of an X. Okay, I'll double check and make sure I copied that right. All right, so first we add like terms, and in adding like terms, we stay within the side of the equal sign, right? I always pay attention to this when I'm adding like terms because I have to ignore, here I'll use my check sheet. I have to ignore everything on the other side, right? I'm only looking at this. These things we can combine without swimming fish. In order to combine this side with that side, we have to swim fish. So it's two different kinds of solving. Let's see, k minus 4k, that would be minus 3k. And then plus 3 and plus 7 would be plus 10. Now we look at the other side and we see, oh, okay, everything's already neat and tidy over there. So we'll just do equals 2k minus 5. All right, how would you like to swim your fishies? Well, you can do it either way, as we proved. I see this minus and say, you know, I'd really rather have pluses. So let's add 3k to both sides, because that'll give me a good positive number in my case. So I swam the fish this way. This cancels out. That means the plain number fish need to swim this way. So I'll have to add 5 to cancel that. And I'll add 5 over there. Okay, so once again, I'm doing that all in one step because I'm fancy. 15 equals 5k. Divide both sides by 5. K equals 3. I hope you're feeling very smart, that you can take something as long and disgusting looking as that. I'll move it up. Look, that was gross, and we just solved it and got a nice little 3. I hope you're feeling smart. Okay, I think this is the last one. Let me check. Yes, it is. Ready? And that's an N. Okay, that's an N. Don't let my weirdness confuse you. First step is add like terms. I'm going to rate my list again. All right, adding like terms means minding your own business on your side of the equal sign. It doesn't mean crossing over. That's swimming fish. So we look to see, is there anything we can combine? Heck yes. That's an N and that's an N. Minus 7 plus 2 is minus 5n, and then the 3 is not going to get changed. All right, now we're ready to look on this side. 4n plus n. Remember, if you want, you can put a 1 there if that helps you. 4 plus 1 is 5n minus 5. So far, so good, right? Now what we'll do there are 6. Okay. Again, I don't like the negative sign here. So I'm going to add 5n to both sides. That cancels, and we get 3 equals 10n minus 5. And again, there's my letter. It's okay if the letter's on the right side or the left side. It doesn't matter. Sometimes students feel like it's backwards or wrong somehow if the letter's over here, because in the beginning, our letter was almost always over here. Either way is fine. Let's add 5 to both sides. Right? And then to get our n by itself, we need to divide by 10. So then we get n equals, and I can see that can be reduced, 4 over 5. It's a general rule of math. Reduce whenever you can. All right, we don't have to be told that. We just automatically do it. Oh wow, that's really hard to see. I hope your eyeballs aren't going crazy. And we do have one more. For some reason, I thought there were only 5 examples, but I was wrong. 26.6. Ready? Now, I'm writing the problems down exactly the way they're written in the book. Once you get the hang of these, if you want, you can combine like terms as you're copying it. right? You have to work carefully and be thoughtful, but some students can do that very successfully. So if you want to copy this down and add those together to get 9x and add those together to get 15 and don't even write this, that's fine with me. Just be careful. And remember that you have to deal with one side at a time when you're adding like terms. We're not going across. That's swimming fish. So then we get 9x minus 5 equals, and over here the 3x is plus 15. Okay, as I look at this, I think I would rather subtract the 3 than subtract 9, because if I subtract 3, I'll end up with a positive number x, and if I subtract 9, I'll have a negative number of x. I'd rather avoid negatives if I can help it. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. That's gone. 6x minus 5 equals 15. This guy has to go home. So I add 5 to cancel him out, right? That's gone. 6x equals 20. Undo this multiplication with a little division. And we get x equals, and I'm going to take 2 out of both of these numbers. They're even, so I know I can reduce. It'll be 10 over 3. And that is our final answer. Yay! All right, have fun with these, you guys. Remember that the rules are first to add like terms. I know I'm going to have you write this down one more time. And that means you're combining things that are on the same side of the equal sign. The second step is to swim fish. And when we do that, we're going across the equal sign. And then our last step is to solve. And it usually involves this step where we just divide by whatever is by the x, all right? So adding like terms means we stay on one side of the equal sign or the other. Swimming fish means we're swimming across the equal sign. And then solving is solving. Yay, guess what? This lesson's over. Yay, goodbye.